KONR-LP Anchorage, 106.1 FM, Out North Radio, and you're listening to the Mountain View Post Radio Hour. Thank you for joining us this morning. My name's Kirsten. I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Kate, and I'm your other co-host.
And so, as you know, if you've listened to the show before, this is the radio show all about the neighborhood of Mountain View and then things that happen in the neighborhood and all.
And some out.
Right, some out, but things that people in the neighborhood might be interested in. And if this is your first time tuning in, you're in for a surprise. I guess every week is kind of a surprise because it's always kind of a mishmash, right, Kate?
Yep.
Different interviews, different topics, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So, as always, though, it's a really busy weekend. I feel like every weekend, Kate, we have more things going on now that the days are starting to warm up. And
so there's more things that they're planning for the summer.
Right. So there will never be a shortage of things for you to do. So yesterday, actually, at the Mountain View Library, which is one of the places in the neighborhood that has a pretty steady stream of public events and things to participate in, yesterday there was a job fair, the spring job fair at the Mountain View Library. They had, I think, about 20 businesses signed up to go and connect with potential employees, and people could go and turn in resumes and perhaps schedule interviews, things like that. Unfortunately, that was yesterday, so if you're listening to this now, that means you missed it. But do not be sad because the library has lots of events planned consistently throughout the year to help job seekers. And one of those very regular things is a job lab that happens on Tuesdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Have you seen that going on when you're at the library, Kate, sometimes?
I've seen that they have posters up for it
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that.
It looks like it's an opportunity to go in and maybe get help, putting together a resume or connecting with other resources if you are looking for a job and trying to get that employment. So that happens weekly at the Mountain View Library. The next one is happening, I believe, on May 8th, and it's from 2 to 5 p.m. So today, Kate, what is today? Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May?
Yeah, and it's the first Saturday of May, and so it is Free Comic Book Day.
Ooh.
And so they have places around Anchorage that you could go get some free comic books.
Uh-huh.
I know, for instance, sometimes the public libraries sometimes do that. I've known that the Mountain View Library has done it a couple times.
So it would be a good day today to drop by the library and see
I know
if they're participating.
Bosco's does, and Bosco's is kind of by Bear's Tooth.
Mm-hmm, over in Spinard.
And then it's also in the Diamond Mall.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So, 2 locations.
And I think if you're in costume, you get like some extra comics or something. So.
And really, who needs an excuse to be in costume on any given day?
No one needs an excuse.
Exactly. So it's probably a good idea just to wear your costume, and if you get a prize for it, great. If you don't, it'll make your day better anyway, right?
Yep.
So I saw actually a picture of you dressed up, I think, as Princess Leia last week, right?
At Comic-Con.
At Comic-Con. You told us that you were going out to Comic-Con. Can you give us a review of Comic-Con?
Yes, it was really cool. I was only there for Saturday, but I was also like kind of helping out at a booth because I can.
Uh-huh.
And so it was really fun because you were going around. There was also some kinds of like art. There was jewelry and hints.
Oh, okay. I saw you're wearing some new bling today.
Yeah.
That's from Comic-Con?
There was,
very cool.
Bosco's was there, Comic Shop was there, which was the booth that I was kind of helping out, which is in Fairbanks.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there for the costume contest. There was so many people for the costume contest.
Really?
Yes.
So did you hear the story afterwards about how somebody left their costume downtown and a few blocks of downtown were briefly shut down because somebody saw it and thought it was suspicious, and so they called the police, and the police came and thought it might, a suspicious package or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right. So that was kind of funny. But so there were a lot of people who participated in the costume contest.
I know that there was a Snow White that won second place.
Okay.
She was like really good.
Yeah, it looked very realistic.
Yes, and then there was a hot tub time machine. My friends told me that there was a movie on that, or one or two movies about that.
There were.
I just thought it was cool. My question was like,
it's just a good idea, period.
My question
whether
was
there's
like,
a movie about
why
it or
didn't
not.
they utilize people in mermaid costumes?
That is a good question. Did you get an answer to that question? Did you ask some people?
No.
So you go to Clark Middle School, right?
Yeah.
Was this big among your classmates? Did you see many of your classmates there?
I saw one and two teachers.
Oh, okay. So, but people from all over.
Two students and two teachers. But on that same day, the Clark Summit was there. And
Right.
as the lady from Black Panther was there, after that, she did go to Comic-Con.
She did. I remember we were wondering that on the show if she was going to be able to, because she had a really busy day. She was at the Clark
She
Summit.
did, and then she talked to someone on stage, and they were like talking. It was really cool.
That is
they
very
also
cool.
had like a shaved ice truck in there.
Mhm.
They actually brought the truck.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, see, these are the type of events we talk about on the show every week. Some of them in Mountain View, some of them not in Mountain View.
But they're really fun.
But they are really fun. And so if you tune in on Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 a.m. and, have your pen handy or something, we'll give you the heads up on some things that you might want to know about and might want to take part in.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, today also I hear that, so do you know about the Mountain View Boys and Girls Club Basketball Developmental League? Have you played for them?
I've played in 3rd grade,
but not since. It's been a little while,
Yeah.
right? So that's been going on at the Boys and Girls Club all this spring, and it's actually down to its final day, according to the Boys and Girls Club. And today, Saturday, is the last game down to the finals. So if you're in the neighborhood and you're a basketball fan and you want to go watch some games at the Boys and Girls Club, that's going to be happening all day in the gym.
Yep.
And it looks like it'll be a great time. So head on down and check it out. Also, while you're in the area, we've been having our big annual community cleanup, right, this past week.
I've seen, like, during school, I look out the windows, there's a bunch of people just picking up garbage. Or just
Awesome.
like, what are those people doing? Oh, wait, it's this cleanup still.
It is the cleanup, and we've been doing it all week, and we kicked it off last Saturday. There was an event at Tyson, and then there was also a big event that started at the Boys and Girls Club. They had over 100 volunteers come out and pick up the neighborhood, and there was hula hands for lunch.
I've seen a lot of people doing it during school because I went to a performance for a school, and so we went to the school during school.
What school is this?
Like Otis.
Okay.
And then we
So
went there, but on the way there we saw so many people picking up trash by East.
Okay, wow.
We were like, whoa.
That's nice. It's good to see so many neighbors and so many community members get out and kind of help clean up the city, because this is the time of year. The snow has just melted. Everything's kind of emerged from where it was hidden.
Do your yard work now.
Right. Do not wait until your grass grows out, because then it's so much harder, and I speak from experience.
Yep.
So the community cleanup, though, today is the last day of the community cleanup, and there is a temporary disposal lot set up in the parking lot on Price Street next to New Hope Baptist Church. So if you live in Mountain View and you have like old furniture or the remains of some construction project that you did on your shed, or things like that you can haul to these dumpsters, take them to the dumpsters set up in that parking lot on Price Street next to New Hope Baptist Church, and you can dispose of it mostly for free. Some things, I think, like a refrigerator, they ask for a donation because they do have to pay a fee to get rid of it. But yes.
And if you're gonna do it like any day, do it today because it's very sunny.
It is very sunny. Not only is it the last day, but it's kind of perfect weather, and it's been kind of gloomy and rainy the rest of the week. So if you've been procrastinating and you haven't felt like hauling that old end table a few blocks over to these dumpsters,
so definitely do the cleanup today or yard work today, because don't wait till it rains.
Do not wait till it
then
rains.
It will be a whole lot harder.
Exactly. So in a little bit, we're going to have I actually had the opportunity to catch up with Mountain View Community Council treasurer and also one of the main cleanup organizers, Daniel George, last Saturday to ask him kind of about what is involved with putting it all together, because there's so many moving parts, not to mention coordinating all of the volunteers and working with the city and also other businesses to put it all together. But it's really a huge endeavor, and it's all dependent on volunteer help and donations from local businesses. So the fact that it kind of happens every year and goes so smoothly, it seems like every year, is kind of an impressive feat. So we're going to hear from him in a little bit to hear what it takes to put together. And then also next week, we have Faster Than the Falcon coming up, the 5K.
Interesting.
You don't sound like you're in a hurry to sign up for a foot race. Don't worry, me neither. But there are lots of people who love running around here, and it's a big event that raises a lot of money for the Mountain View Boys and Girls Club. And I think it has several hundred participants every year. So there's still a little bit of time to sign up for that, and we'll give you all the details a little bit later in the show. For now, though, we're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. This is the Mountain View Post Radio Hour. Welcome back to the Mountain View Post Radio Hour on KONR-LP Anchorage 106.1 FM. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Kirsten.
My name's Kate.
And so earlier in the show, we were talking about all of the neighborhood and community events we have going on and coming up. And one of those is the community cleanup, right, Kate?
Yep.
And that's been going on all week. And you've probably seen, you've seen,
Yeah.
first of all, a lot of volunteers going around and picking up trash and litter around the neighborhood. And there have been also volunteers with trucks driving around and picking up things and bringing them back to this lot we have set up. It's a disposal lot. It's right a little north of the Mountain View Boys and Girls Club. Yeah, right there next to New Hope Church. And that's been going all week. So if you live in the neighborhood and you have trash you need to get rid of, make sure you do it today, because today is the last day of the cleanup and the lot's going to be closing down.
Or if you see weird people in your front yard picking up your trash, those are people for the Mountain View cleanup.
Hopefully they're people for the Mountain View cleanup, or maybe they're just, yeah, right. But what's the saying? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. If there's someone in my yard picking up trash, I would probably not say anything, right?
As long as they don't do anything they're not supposed to, we're good.
Right, exactly. So as we mentioned a little earlier, the Mountain View Community Cleanup is always all volunteer coordinated, and it's really spearheaded by a committed group of neighbors who put hours and hours and hours into this every single year to organize it, and then also to volunteer down at the lot when the cleanup is in progress, right?
Yeah.
And so we had the opportunity to catch up last week on the first day of the community cleanup with Daniel George, who is the treasurer of the Mountain View Community Council, and also he is one of the main organizers of this year's community cleanup, along with other council members, and has been involved in it for years now. So we had the opportunity to catch up with Daniel and ask him, Daniel, what exactly is it like organizing the cleanup every year, and what kind of work goes into it? Tell us what it's like.
It's been herding cats. This is the first year that I've really had to call each of the vendors and get everything set up. I've been volunteering with the cleanup for years, and Nikki Burrows has been a driving force in the past. Kep Pierce has been as well. Looks like we have some firemen here. I wonder if they're helping us clean up. Hopefully they are. Scott Kohlhaas ran it for years. He's not actually a Mountain View resident, but he's been a great friend of Mountain View. So what does it take to get everything organized? It takes remembering who all the vendors are, securing a lot. That's the first thing, number one, is finding a place where you can have the cleanup. We've kind of been vagabonds in our own neighborhood in a way. We've had the cleanup held at the lot behind what was Brewster's at Mountain View and Burgaw for years. We've held it down across from Alaska Mining and Diving Supply. We've held it at Davis Park in the parking lot, and this year we are in the municipal parking lot that is just north of New Hope Baptist. It's actually part of the same track the Boys and Girls Club is on, so it's a municipal parcel. So we're going to try it on this little postage stamp this year and see how it goes. One nice thing I'm really excited about this year is that the lot is inside Mountain View. It's easily visible to residents. It's in a giant commons, if you will, in a square with eyes on it from all directions. Everyone can see we're doing work out here. Maybe they'll be inspired to come out and join us. We're right in the neighborhood, so we don't have to worry about people that are not Mountain View residents driving by and going, hey, I wonder if I'll dump my stuff here for free. This is just for Mountain View residents. And we do check ID or a utility bill or something when people come in to make sure that they are Mountain View residents, because the dumping of the trash is actually donated by Solid Waste Services for Mountain View. So we've been doing this for over 25 years here. I say we. I haven't been in Mountain View that long, but some people have. Some of our volunteers have. And so we'll have 40-yard and 50-yard containers. Those are big, long roll-off cans. They look like you'd see on the back of a semi here at the lot, where we'll have trash tossed in those, and we'll have a front-end loader crushing it down to try and get as much as possible in those. We have American Tire and Auto has lent the use of one of their box trucks. They'll leave it here all week for us for free, and they will let us put all the tires we can fit inside of it, and they'll take them away. It doesn't cost us anything to dispose of them, and that's very generous of them. They've done that every year I've been doing this. CRS is going to not charge us this year for disposal of metal. So we're going to have a metal dumpster, which we'll be crushing down to fit as much as possible in there. We won't be out collecting couches and mattresses this year, and the city will not be picking them up. It's unfortunate, but we understand there's health concerns that city employees can't be expected to pick up unbagged mattresses and so on. So what we're asking folks to do is not leave them on the sidewalk, not leave them in their property or next to their dumpsters, because Solid Waste Services won't take them. We ask that they find a way to bring them to us, whether that's find a friend with a truck or drag it or whatever they need to do, bring it to our collection lot. We'll put it in one of our dumpsters for free.
Okay, so there is an option for people who are trying to get rid of things. If they can get it to this lot, then they can dispose of it. So how much trash would it be possible to dispose of? We have, you mentioned, four dumpsters are going to be on the lot at any given time. At the end of the week, how much trash are we talking?
Well, in past years, the whole cleanup, and the number includes both the cleanup lot as well as the procession that goes up and down every street in Mountain View. Street maintenance, solid waste services, code enforcement, they make a big procession. You've probably seen them if you've been in the neighborhood in past years in April and May, where it'll be 20 or 30 people, and it looks like they're out plowing snow, where they have the snow blowers and the dump trucks following them behind, but it's front end loader and a couple of dump trucks, and they're just filling them up, going up down every single street. That was about 60 tons on an average year, and then we get about 35 to 45 tons on the lot itself. That doesn't include the scrap metal, that doesn't include electronics recycling or tires or fridges that we take as well. We do collect fridges at the collection lot. They'll be $25 for folks to drop off. Because of the Freon, we have to have Total Reclaim come and take them away, but they've given us a break on the price, which is really awesome. They can bring stoves, they can bring washers and dryers, even a hot water heater can be accepted. We don't charge for Mountain View residents, but we gladly and very appreciatively accept donations.
So that was Mountain View Community Council Treasurer and also one of the many cleanup organizers, Daniel George, talking about the volunteer work that goes into organizing this event every year. So remember, today is the last day of the cleanup, so if you are a Mountain View neighborhood resident and you have some things to get rid of, stop by that lot. It is on Price Street, just north of New Hope Baptist Church, and you can get rid of your trash and refuse and all the old furniture and things you've had piling up in your yard all winter. You can dump it in one of the dumpsters there.
And remember, it's not leaves and twigs and stuff like that. It's trash.
Yeah, like hardcore stuff, but not too hardcore. We can only take so much. No hazardous material. Right. So also, as you know, KONR, the station, has been in the middle of a fundraiser for the past few weeks, trying to raise money for a new transmitter, which would help spread the signal farther across Anchorage. You know, this is a low-power station, so, we don't really reach every corner of Anchorage, but we're trying to get there. So we have a GoFundMe right now. You can find it at gofundme.com/spreadtheweird, or you can find more information on KONR's website, which is outnorthradio.com, to find more information about that fundraiser to buy a new transmitter. We have had some success with the fundraising, though, because I've heard, Kate, that we have enough money now to start doing some online streaming here soon. Yay!
Well, wait, it's called Get the Weird?
Spread the Weird.
Spread the Weird?
Yep.
Okay.
You know what kind of station this is, right? Yeah. Some people might describe it as weird.
It's
in a good
an
way.
Interesting one.
Right. It is a very interesting station. So if you're at all interested in helping more Anchorage residents tune in, go to that GoFundMe, like Kate said, Spread the Weird, or outnorthradio.com to learn more about that. And also stay tuned for more information on online streaming, because that's going to be happening soon. So instead of listening to old issues, or I'm thinking in print, instead of listening to old shows, old Mountain View Post radio hours on our website, mountainviewpost.com, you'll be able to actually listen in real time on Saturday mornings as we are broadcasting live from 9 to 10 a.m.
And that reminds me, isn't the third issue going to come out at some point soon?
Yes. So this month, the third issue of Mountain View Post magazine will be distributed around the neighborhood, and we will definitely have more information on where you can find it on next week's show, so stay tuned. But this issue is very exciting because we have a lot of focus on all of the seniors who are graduating from Mountain View this
some senior
spring.
art,
right?
some
We
senior
have
stories.
Right, we have writings, we have some really beautiful art that I'm excited for everybody to see, some poetry even, and also some interviews with graduating seniors about, what they're thinking about this time of year, what they're looking forward to about the future, kind of what it's been like on this final year of high school. And your sister actually put those together, right?
Yeah. And so as soon as they walk across the stage, once they get off, make sure you have your phone so you can add every single teacher you have.
Yeah.
Or had.
Right. So it is a big time of year for graduating seniors.
Yeah.
So we are going to actually take a quick break because we have a special guest here in the studio to talk about some events coming up next weekend, both in Mountain View and outside. These are a pretty interesting event, and I think a lot of people will be pretty fascinated to hear what's going on and possibly want to get involved. So stay tuned. This is the Mountain View Post Radio Hour, and we will be right back. Welcome back to the Mountain View Post Radio Hour. My name's Kirsten.
And my name's Kate.
So we're here in the studio this morning with a very special guest. We're here with Evan Anderson. He's the Civic Engagement Coordinator for the Alaska Center Education Fund. He's been on the show before. Evan, last time you were here, it was in March, and you were talking about elections and voting, right?
Absolutely, and we're so glad with the great voter turnout results in Mountain View and in the broader community. It really seems like vote by mail was a big success.
It looked like in both of our precincts, I think we had over double voter turnout from our last election. So it was a pretty significant difference for sure.
Love it.
And so with the Alaska Center, you are involved in issues of kind of civic advocacy, and you told us about this time, but for new listeners, tell us a little bit about the Alaska Center and the Education Fund and the work that you're involved in broadly.
Sure, absolutely. So the Alaska Center Big Picture works on protecting wild salmon habitat, promoting clean energy, and strengthening Alaskans' voice in the public process. So that third issue area is where I spend most of my time trying to protect Alaska's democracy by getting more folks involved in voting.
And we try to get you on the radio to talk about it as much as we can. So thank you for being a good sport and being here this morning.
Well, thanks for having me.
So next weekend, I understand it is a busy weekend for you at the Alaska Center. There are two events that are coming up, one on May 11th, and then that's one of those not in Mountain View events, right, Kate?
Yeah.
And then one actually in the neighborhood the next day on May 12th.
That's absolutely right. So we have our annual auction this year. The theme is Powering a Brighter Future, and that's going to happen over at the Marriott Friday, May 11th. It's always a really fun event. We've invited Rev. Lennox Yearwood Jr. to come up and join us this year. He's the CEO of the Hip Hop Caucus. He's based in D.C., but he has, if you've heard of the Vote or Die campaign, the Respect My Vote campaign, this guy has been working on the issues of civic engagement and voting for over a decade, and he's well known for kind of moving hip hop into the political arena. So we're excited to have him in not only in state, but joining us for our annual auction on Friday night.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
And then we knew that, since our fundraiser costs $50 to get in, it's not accessible for every single person from the community to be there. We'd love to have you. If you can't afford the $50, we also have a ton of volunteer roles. So please just go visit akcenter.org and be in touch if you want to be there.
Oh, excellent. That's good to know. akcenter.org to learn more about the event, and also volunteer roles or other ways that.
And so he's the person on the flyer, right?
He is the person on the flyer. And then we also wanted to make sure that he's not just coming in speaking to folks at a fundraiser, but we wanted to have a conversation with the broader community as well. So that following Saturday, I know that Faster Than the Falcon 5K will be happening.
I was going to say, this is busy weekend, but that's good, though, because people will be in the neighborhood, and so possibly they'll be able to kind of piggyback, because it is a very short race.
Yes, that's exactly right. So we'll be out there. I think I'm going to slice some oranges and head to the end of the race.
Excellent.
And I think Rev Yearwood is going to join us for that as well. We've invited him. And then from 11:30 to 1:30, 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the Mountain View Boys and Girls Club, we'll be having a conversation that's facilitated by the Rev, but it's not just he's not just up there speechifying. It's really a community-driven conversation. We're allowing the community to drive the topics that we'll speak about, and then to close the conversation, we're actually going to have a freestyle rap battle at the end.
Whoa! So I saw something about for maybe people who are talented and interested in that and want to participate. I saw something about a prize here on the flyer.
There is a prize. There's a $100 cash prize for the winner. So
dang. I still have a week to practice.
Yes, and I think we're thinking, you can definitely prepare, write some rhymes, kind of prepare, but we're also hoping that the dialogue that we have can be inspiration for folks to step up on stage and have their voice heard in that way.
That's really neat. So you can have kind of the crossover between the issues that are being discussed by the community, and then turn it into some kind of art form that will be presented right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, so many famous people come to Mountain View.
Right? So many famous people. They always stop by the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah. Travis Love, the girl from Black Panther, now this dude.
Right. You have to keep your autograph book handy and just keep your eyes peeled. You never know who you're going to see, right? So some of it, you mentioned that this community conversation is going to be driven by the people of the community and what kind of topics arise. But in general, what are some of the issues that Rev might address or that might come up at this?
Yeah, so beyond just general civic engagement and talking to people about voting, the Rev has been really intensely focused, especially in these last 5 years, on topics of environmental and climate justice. So he has really traveled the country at this point, having conversations with different groups of people about what the most important environmental issues are to them. And it's been a big. We're excited to have him here in Alaska to start the conversation about the just transition from exclusively fossil fuels in our economy to growing to an economy that's more equitable for all Alaskans.
It's interesting to see the nexus of kind of that and hip hop and civic engagement and all these different areas that he's involved in. But like you mentioned, climate change is a very pertinent topic for Alaskans, and depending on where you live in the state, you may see its effects to 1 degree or another. I know some people are, you might literally see the edge of your community eroding away or things like that. And also, of course, since in Mountain View, our neighbors, they really come from places all over the world in some cases, and so depending on where your family ties are, you could also be seeing those effects of climate change. And so this should be a really interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Thanks. We hope so too. And I think you're exactly right. I think Mountain View in so many ways is the nexus of a lot of these issues, with people really from around the state, from around the world who end up moving and settling in Mountain View. I think there will hopefully be lots of different perspectives to share at our conversation next Saturday.
So this is the event on Saturday is taking place at the Boys and Girls Club, and it is from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And the conversation will be first, and then it'll end with the hip hop competition with the $100 prize.
Yep, that's right. And we're gonna have lunch too. I don't think I mentioned, but
that's always a big draw, especially for events that are over the lunch hour, right?
And I need to call them, but we're gonna give Waffles and What Not a call to see if they might be able to do lunch on Friday as well.
So this is going to be one of those things where you have to stay tuned to see if that happens or not. But for those of you who might not know Waffles and What Not, they're still a pretty new business, but I understand they have a kind of cult-like following among people in Anchorage and some pretty creative waffle options as well. So fingers crossed that we'll be able to see them next weekend.
We'll keep you posted.
So Kate, I was going to ask, this event this Saturday, it looks like you have a few thoughts about this. If you attended this, what would you be interested in asking Rev?
Which one? The
May
May 11th
speaker?
or the May 12th?
The May 12th is the community conversation. So May 11th is the fundraiser, and that's happening at the Marriott for the Alaska Center. And then the next day, Rev is going to come by the community center and have the conversation with members of the community, and then there'll be the rap battle at the end of that.
Because it's kind of funny, because it sounds like part of the fundraiser we had for the youth court with the heads or tails and the live auction.
Yep.
Right, you did. Yes, this is a great season for fundraisers, and I know a lot of trivia too. I know a lot of nonprofit organizations around town have had their fundraising events lately.
Yeah.
So,
Kate, that's a great point, because I didn't mention sort of all the things that are on the agenda for the auction, and that includes Kate's reading from the program for us here. But
Silent and live auction.
mm-hmm.
Silent and live auction. We're gonna have Rev Yearwood speak. We're gonna have a dance group, heads or tails, and live music all night. And it's
Art, music.
It's always really fun. I've been to some other fundraisers, and they can be a little bit more stuffy.
Right. Yeah. There are definitely different types of events. Some are a little more, a sit up straight and no dancing, and then others.
Yeah, the one I went to was like
no dancing, sit up straight. Yeah.
Well, because it's a bunch of lawyers.
Well, everybody knows that you want to be a lawyer, so
I do. I really do.
You have to learn how to do that, right?
That's gonna be hard.
You still have a long time. So this event, just to recap, if you're just tuning in now, we're talking about the Alaska Center's annual auction. It's called Powering a Brighter Future. That's the theme this year, I understand, and that is taking place on Friday, May 11th at the Anchorage Marriott downtown. The address, if you don't have it, is 820 West 7th Avenue. It is taking place from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. There is a full program that Evan and Kate just gave you a little preview of what you might be able to expect, but it features keynote speaker Rev Lennox Yearwood Jr. So Evan, how did you connect with him, and how were you able to convince him to come all the way from DC up to Alaska? Has he been up here before, or?
I believe this is the Rev's first time visiting Alaska. We've connected with him through the Hip Hop Caucus and their broader work to engage the national community. Rev Yearwood also serves as on the board of the League of Conservation Voters, which is a national group that we're affiliated with, and that we're super grateful for that connection, and that he'd be willing to join us up here.
Nice. So it's kind of networking and finding him that way. And
maybe if he comes up here again, we got to get him to Homer, Whittier, and all those places.
Right.
That sounds good. We asked him actually if he'd be running the Faster Than a Falcon 5K on Saturday morning, but we gotta know.
Oh, well, it's a good question, and maybe at least we'll be able to see him at the finish line there before the conversation, and you'll be able to get some people, capture some people from the race, and draw them in there because.
Are you going to be running?
It's the night after our fundraiser, but I very well might be.
I might. I want to do. If I were to, I'd want to do it with Kristen.
Oh, you're really putting me on the spot. Well, we'll talk about it. I might have to do it because all these years I've watched it happen. It goes right by my house.
No, it's funny because like you just drive down the street and be like, oh wait, that's today.
Right.
Oh.
And then you might have to change your plans a little bit because you'll be stuck in your driveway.
It's always near the Mountain View cleanup because then the Mountain View cleanup happens. And then usually the next week is the Faster Than a Falcon because it's like spring and sunny and all those things.
Right. And so if you're looking for more information on the Faster Than a Falcon 5K, of course, you can find that on our website, mountainviewpost.com. And also we will make sure to update our community calendar with this information about the event on May 12th with Rev Yearwood in Mountain View because that sounds really interesting for people to come and talk with him and maybe hear about some of what their neighbors are thinking about and participate in that conversation.
And if you don't want to go because you think the falcon's going to be scary, it's because it's an actual person in a suit.
At the race.
You can't really be scared of it because last year at the talent show, it was dancing on stage, so you can't really be scared of it anymore.
That sounds even scarier. So that's the next Saturday is a full day in Mountain View. We have the Faster Than a Falcon 5K in the morning, and then we have this community conversation with Rev Lennox Yearwood Jr. of the Hip Hop Caucus, who has been brought up here for the Alaska Center's annual auction the evening before on Friday.
Absolutely.
So Evan, and the website one more time for people who are looking for more information about this or might be interested in volunteer opportunities?
Visit akcenter.org. So that has, if you visit the homepage, it has all the information about the auction in particular, and then you have to kind of click around to find events, to find the community conversation as well.
akcenter.org. Go check it out, or mountainviewpost.com for other events in the neighborhood. Evan, thank you so much for coming out this morning and talking with us and filling us in. You are always, every time you come in, you have some information on something that people should know about, so we really appreciate it.
Well, thanks so much for having me on again.
Stay tuned on the Mountain View Post Radio Hour. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Mountain View Post Radio Hour. Thank you for tuning in to the radio show that is all about Mountain View.
My name is Kate.
And my name's Kirsten. We are your hosts. So we have had such a full show today, and we are already up to the end of the hour. So before we sign off, we're just going to kind of recap the different events that we have coming up here in the neighborhood in case you maybe missed earlier in the show or something like that. Today is the last day of the Mountain View Community Cleanup.
And it is the free comic book day.
And it is Free Comic Book Day. So swing by the Mountain View Library, see if they're doing anything for Free Comic Book Day, or maybe just read some comic books. Also check out Bosco's and the main Anchorage Library.
I know Bosco's is doing it for sure.
You know Bosco's is doing it for sure. Excellent. So maybe go there first and then come back to the Mountain View Library.
Yeah.
And then do the last of your spring cleaning, get to the Mountain View Community Cleanup. The disposal lot is in that parking lot right next to New Hope Baptist Church on Price Street. You have to be a Mountain View resident, so sorry everyone else who's listening from elsewhere in Anchorage.
Sorry.
Yep, this is Mountain View only, and they do ask for identification, like a driver's license or a piece of mail or something. So you have to prove you live in Mountain View.
Be like, here's my bank thing.
Whoa, no, okay. I mean, I'm sure nobody's going to complain if you hand over your bank information, but you probably don't need to go that far, right? Next week is the Faster Than a Falcon 5K, and also this community conversation with Rev Lennox Yearwood Jr. from the Hip Hop Caucus. And those are both happening in Mountain View. The Faster Than a Falcon 5K kicks off on Pine Street right there by Mountain View Lions Park. I believe it starts at 9:30 in the morning. Unfortunately, if you haven't signed up yet, you're too late for the early sign-up fee, but you can still sign up. It's $22 registration for adults. For students, though,
It's free.
it is completely free. So Kate is considering doing her first 5K this year.
No, I've done
Oh.
a 5K before.
Okay, she's considering doing her first 5K of 2018.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, if I would do it, I'd have to do it with you.
Okay.
And then he'd probably go because he doesn't want to feel left out.
Well, yeah. Exactly.
Plus,
Maybe.
it'd be a very good picture opportunity.
Would it though? I don't know.
You could get a man in a falcon costume.
Oh, that is always a good picture opportunity.
Yep.
Man in a falcon costume running down the street. You don't see that very often. So that takes place next Saturday, May 12th. Then later in the morning is that community conversation. And of course, you can always find information about events that are happening in Mountain View and coverage of past events on the blog, which is mountainviewpost.com. That's mtviewpost.com. And if you've missed past shows, we also have a big archive. Well, it's not that big since we just started airing the show in February, but it goes back to the beginning, an archive of of Mountain View Post Radio Hour shows. So go back, listen to them. It's a lot of fun. Read up on upcoming events, learn a little bit more about the
And if you didn't know about like the faster than a falcon, it's a falcon because Clark's animal is a falcon.
Right. And it goes right by
Yeah.
Clark every year, right?
Yeah, I think so. I
And
think
it-
so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it used to actually start at Clark, but they moved it around a little bit.
Yeah.
It still makes sense, though. So the Faster Than a Falcon 5K, it is next Saturday. You can still sign up. All the money goes towards the Mountain View Boys and Girls Club, so it's a great
Yay.
community fundraiser. Yay. You can learn more about it and follow a link to sign up on our website, mountainviewpost.com, mtviewpost.com. And Kate, I think that brings us to the end of today's show.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. We'll see you next week.